Welcome to a new episode.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Copper Connection podcast with me, your host, as always, Chris Bailey. This week we're going to be looking at safety signs in the UK construction industry. But before we begin, let me ask you a quick question. When you walk onto a construction site, how often do you notice the safety signs? Probably all the time. But how often do you really think about them? On a busy site where machines are running, people shouting instructions and going, signs can almost fade into the background. But here's the truth. Every single sign is there for a reason. Some of those reasons are written in law and others are written in blood from the past accidents that could have been prevented. So today we're going to take a look at the legal backbone of the UK signage. The 4 to 5 main characteristics and categories of the signs we will see, how they should be used properly and why they matter, not just for compliance but for saving lives. So let's get started with the law, because everything we do in health and safety ties back to legal duty. The key legislation here is the Health and Safety Signs and Signals Regulation 1996. These came from an EU directive and they set out how signs must be used in workplaces across Britain. What does the law actually say? Well, in simple terms, if a risk exists that cannot be eliminated in any other way, then you must provide a sign. Signs must follow standards designs so they are instantly recognisable. Employers are responsible for maintaining them, and employees are responsible for following them. And the Health and Safety Executive, or the HSE as we know, enforces these. If they come onto your site and find a missing, damaged or confusing signage, you're likely to get improvement notices, prohibition notices, fines, and in some serious cases, maybe prosecution. Think about that for a moment. Something as small as a missing asbestos warning sign could cost you thousands of pounds in penalties, or worse, it could cost a life. It's not just a HSE either. Under the Construction Design Management Regulation 2015, or CDM as we know it, 2015, principal contractors must ensure clear signage for everyone on site. This isn't just for paperwork's sake. It's about making sure people know where to go, what to wear, and what to avoid the second they arrive. So now let's get into the heart of it. The types of safety signs. There is 4 main colours we're going to cover: blue, yellow, red and green. The first one is prohibition signs. As you can see, this is a red circle, white background with a black pictogram and red line through it. The meaning means stop, do not do this. Examples you will see on site: no smoking, often near gas canisters or fuel storage. It only takes a single spark to cause a fire. And it's no authorised entry to keep you and the public safe. Other ones we could come across are: do not drink. It's a glass, as you can see, with a tap. Do not touch. No naked flames. The list is endless. Do not use mobile phones on some sites. Phones usage is banned near cranes or explosive atmospheres because distraction or sparks could be deadly. Real case, there's been fires on construction sites started by careless smoking in fuel areas. A simple sign acts as a constant reminder: do not light up with mandatory signs. Mandatory signs are blue circles, white pictograms. These mean you must do. So the examples of this would be: hard hats must be worn, eye protection required, wear high visibility clothing, hearing protection zones. These are especially common at site entrances. You'll often see a cluster of them, setting the rules for anyone stepping onto site. So there's been a case where a worker on a London site was hit by a falling spanner. His helmet, required by the mandatory sign, absorbed the blow. Without the sign and enforcement, the outcome could have been fatal. Next are the warning signs. As you can see, these are yellow triangles, black border, and symbol. This shows there is danger ahead, or be careful. So some of the ones you will see on site are corrosive materials, danger, electricity, flammable materials, and trip hazards are all about anticipation. They tell you what could happen if you're not alert. On a Midland site, workers ignored an asbestos warning sign and drilled into lagging. What was the result? Well, exposure that led to a costly HSE investigation and long-term health impacts. That one sign, if respected, could have stopped the entire incident from happening. These are green rectangles or squares with white pictograms, meaning here's the safe routes. Here's the equipment you need. So for some examples, and we'll all see this example, fire exit routes, usually with arrows. First aid stations, emergency showers or eye wash stations, assembly points if the fire alarm has gone off. These signs reassure you during an emergency. Instead of panic, they give you direction. Example of this, imagine a fire breaking out, smoke is rising, alarms are sounding, people looking around, and the green exit arrow guides them straight out with no hesitation. So they're the 4 most common signs we will come across on construction industry. Now let's have a look at the best practice. Having signs isn't enough. They need to be used effectively. So we need to ensure the placement and visibility of these signs must be where people can see them, at eye level, not hidden behind scaffolding or blocked behind skips. They should be lit and visible even in poor weather. Every sign should follow the standard design. So sorry, no homemade drawings or confusing variations. And we need to make sure we maintain our signs regularly. A faded high voltage sign is worthless. Regular site inspections should include signage checks. Make sure all your staff and employees are trained effectively. At inductions, workers should be shown the key signs for the site and their meanings. Toolbox talks are a great way to refresh this knowledge support on site. Remember, a sign doesn't replace an action. Wearing hearing protection sign means nothing if you haven't been issued ear defenders. Think about scaffold access. You might put up a sign saying do not use, scaffold incomplete. But if the barrier is removed, someone could ignore the sign. That way, sign must always back up, not replace a physical control. So why do the signs matter? Why do we need to follow them? So why do we invest so much attention into signs? First of all, accident prevention. They stop unsafe actions before they happen. It keeps us compliant on sites. Without proper signage, we could face fines and enforcement. In 2022, one contractor was fined £20,000 for failing to display asbestos warning signs. They have a universal understanding. Many workers on UK sites come from overseas. Signs using pictograms that do not rely on language are more useful. They can understand the hazard even from the picture. Green and red signs guide people out of danger or to equipped in a crisis. This sign as part of the site's communication system. Just as you'd expect a supervisor to warn you verbally, the signs do the same thing constantly, silently, and for everyone at once. Safety signs are not decorations. They are legally required, carefully designed, and absolutely essential for keeping people alive. Every red, blue, yellow, and green sign tells you something vital. Ignore them and you are gambling with your safety and the safety of others. Respect them and you're going to be part of keeping the site safe. So next time you're on a construction site, pause for a moment. Look at the signs around you. Ask yourself, are they clear? Are they in the right place? Are they being followed? Because in construction, awareness saves lives. And safety signs are one of the simplest, most powerful tools we have to build that awareness. So that brings us to the end of this week's episode of the Copper Connection podcast, where we have looked at safety signs.
We'll be back next week. In the meantime, please subscribe and thanks for listening.